All right, today we're going to jump into some of your most favorite topics. And of course, the leading topic in the electric vehicle space is full self-driving. And you know it, I know it now. It's an unbelievable topic. I think that we got to bring in some of the world's experts. So we've thought, hey, let's have Lars Strandridder come on. I watch his show, Best in Tesla. I love what you're doing over there at Best in Tesla. So thanks for stopping in, Lars.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, so here on TechPath, if this is your first time maybe, and you've searched Tesla FSD, you probably found this video. The idea behind TechPath is we cover electric vehicles, we do a lot of innovative technology, automation, robotics, and then we also cover blockchain tech and a lot of crypto topics as well. So you came to the right place. Lars, let's jump into it today, and that is full self-driving has become mainstream here in the United States. Anybody who has a Tesla that is has the equipment package in place can simply click the button on their app and they have full self-driving. What do you think about that? What do you think that is going to happen with this?
I think this could be a very big deal for Tesla, actually, because full self-driving is a very expensive thing to get from the get-go, as I have bought it in my Tesla from the get-go, because I thought, or still thinks down the road it will still be very valuable, and I'm going to keep the Model 3, even though if I buy other cars. But I think that this will broaden it out to a much broader audience, the full self-driving, and many are probably going to try it because you can also just get it for a month, test it out, and see how it goes. And then Tesla will have a month with another Tesla with full self-driving that is collecting data and paying them $200 a month. So if thousands of people are going to do this, it's going to be a big revenue stream for Tesla as well.
I think when I looked at it, and this is one of the things that we've reported here on the show about it, I've been kind of anticipating this for quite some time. And I don't have and did not have full self-driving on my Model Y, but of course it being the 2020 version, I had all the right equipment. It was literally so easy when I engaged it. $200 a month, you get it immediately. I mean, it's literally you just go in and set up your settings on Summon and on Auto Park and on green lights, and basically you have full self-driving. Not city streets, just so to be clear with everybody, it's not FSD 9, the beta that's out there doing city streets that you get now. This is the traditional FSD. But Lars, do you think $200 is going to scare people away, or say, hey, I'm willing to pay the $200, or do you think Tesla's going to continue to raise the price?
I think Tesla's going to continue to raise the price on full self-driving in the total package. In general, yeah, because Elon has always said that it's going to be best for people to buy the full self-driving package and not subscribe, and that's why they're going to keep it high. But I don't think it's that high. It's still a premium car. So far, they don't have the Model 2 or whatever it's going to be called. It also is going to be able to have full self-driving. So it is a middle class and not people that has this kind of car. So they will also have the kind of money to, if they want full self-driving, this could be the deal. But I think it's not going to be everybody. I think it's going to be like 30% would want this, 30% will think it's too expensive, and 30% don't really care about full self-driving, something like that. But I think many people will jump on it, because if you can afford a Tesla, $200 a month doesn't seem like that crazy a deal for those kind of people.
Yeah, I think, well, if I look at it and I kind of feel, of course, we own luxury vehicles, and when I bought the Model Y, I was very kind of struggling with the decision to put full self-driving on it or wait, because I've been watching for many years the kind of the slow release of full self-driving, and knowing that it was eventually going to come, but wasn't even sure if it was going to come while I own this vehicle, because I usually only keep a car a couple of years. So the subscription program was really a perfect, model for me. I was actually a little bit hesitant at the $200 price. And I feel like, even though I'm a little bit, I won't say I'm cheap, but I'm a little bit conscious of spending money. And I thought, well, $200, that's a little pricey. Can I really use this? I had just come back from a big long road trip, probably could have used it because of just the auto lane change, things of that feature that you need out on the open road. But if I look at this overall, the take rate of Tesla in full self-driving packages like what you purchased on your vehicle here in the United States is fairly low. There's some reports of this under 10%. And do you feel
Yeah.
like Tesla, this is their opportunity to kind of move full self-driving into the masses without kind of this whole investment opportunity of saying, hey, I'm going to go ahead and drop my 10 grand on this? Is this their one shot to
Yeah,
do it?
yeah, exactly. I think this is because it is a lot of money to pay $10,000 for. It's not that many features you get from your normal, what do you call it, autopilot.
Yeah,
But I think when so it is a lot of money, and I think $200 many people can find that money kind of money to subscribe, even though it's a bit steep. But I think when the version uh, 9 we are seeing
9.
now,
Yeah,
when that's going to roll out to the public, I think people will start to see, okay, this is an awesome opportunity to get full self-driving for a very low price. And I also think that the full self-driving package will increase when they do that, because it suddenly can do so much more than it can do today. We see the testers right now doing from car park to car park with zero interventions. That is going to be a huge deal, especially like you just said on road trips. I'm doing a road trip right now. For me, it has been absolutely amazing driving a Tesla on a road trip, because of the full self driving makes it so easy and stress free. And I trust the car very, very much on highways anyway,
right.
to take me safely to my destination. So I feel kind of unsafe when I have to drive in the mountains down here in Austria or whatever, when I can't put full self driving on, because I'm human. I have two screaming kids in the back, and so on. And you want to pick some music and whatever. So you are distracted as a human. But the car is always there to take over, especially on highways if somebody breaks and so on. So I think it's a very good value, especially when we look just hopefully the end of this year, when we will have version out to a much broader market. I think this will really take off, because as you said, $200, it is a bit steep for what you get right now, but I think that will change over time,
Yeah.
and in this year. Yeah.
Here's a theory I have about full self-driving, in the sense, they had the advanced autopilot at least available here. I'm not sure if that was available in Europe, where you had lane change. I think you had everything except summon and maybe park, green lights, but you did have auto lane change. There might have been a couple other
Yeah.
features there. So I'm wondering, do you think there might be a potential here, especially when version 9 rolls out to a full issuance of the software into FSD, city streets, do you think that we could see a split on autopilot, much like what we saw in the advanced autopilot versus FSD? In other words, like an entry-level FSD versus a full
Yes.
bloat FSD. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that would kind of make great sense if they could do that. That the autopilot also gets a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
with the new rollout, because then you get the crazy new features with the version 9, and you can pay that, and that's probably going to be more expensive,
That's what I
because
think.
that is
Yeah.
kind of cool what it can do with all the driving, and maybe just have, like they have now, the autopilot, which is kind of included, but then maybe have lane change and stuff like that, and smart summon or something in parking lots, to be that kind of thing that's included, but then maybe raise the price of the full self-driving package. But I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
the whole thing is gonna just keep on going up as more and more features come along, and the more and more full self-driving it actually becomes.
Yeah. How long do you think we'll see, Lars, before version 9 hits the market? I was actually a little surprised when Elon dropped the subscription just like random. There was no news. I don't think anybody
Yeah.
even kind of thought it was coming. I was looking back I follow Whole Mars catalog, which is he seems to be one of the leading guys that, communicates with Elon a lot of insider baseball. Do
Yeah.
you think we're months away, or we won't see this maybe until 2022 in terms of version 9?
Uh, I do think we're going to see a wider spread by this year, probably end
Mm-hmm.
end year, and us here in Europe we probably have to wait a little bit longer as usual. So, but I think we're going to see a wider spread, because yeah, it's probably mostly they are have to get regulatory to approve it in Europe
Right.
and places like this. So that's going to take time. Just like you said, we have out of lane change, but it doesn't do it without us putting on the blinkers in Europe, for
Exactly.
example. So it
Yeah.
doesn't do it all by itself. So we have some regulators giving us some some limitations on the full self-driving here in Europe. Um, but I think it's going to be, because when we look at the beta testers and what that version 9 is capable of already, and we know that Tesla gets more and more cars on the road, and Tesla is also not just looking at the full self-driving cars, but they are also sitting and doing this kind of shadow mode, watching the computer is watching how people drive and guesses what you're going to do, and every time it guesses wrong, Tesla will look at that and see why the human did another thing that the computer thought. So they are in an exponential growth when it comes to data for the full self-driving. So I do
Right.
expect this to ramp up a bit faster, even though people say the last 10% is really difficult to get that to the 99.999% and so on. But we also have to take this S curve and exponential growth, and it's kind of hard to wrap your head around. It's not natural for us humans to understand exponential growth. So I don't think people get that. And I think we're going to see, because maybe it's not going to be full self-driving, but version 9, I think we're going to see a widely spread this year.
Yeah, I think the question will be acceptance, because obviously, I've not had full self-driving. Now I have it. So far, I've used it anecdotally for a small period of time. It was, yeah, sure, it was nice. It got me over across the thoroughfare here in South Florida. And I thought, yeah, okay, it's worth it, maybe. But I feel like I would use it more in, obviously a long road trip, which was really kind of the initial reason I thought, hey, let's go ahead and get it because of that purpose alone. But here's the thing, $200, and I already had all the equipment. I want to jump to a story here on Electrek. Tesla reduced the price of the FSD computer upgrade to $1,000, but not zero. So this was after criticism of their initial rollout of the upgrade required to do FSD. So here's my question to you. Tesla started to back off a little bit on certain things in terms of price points. So in this particular case, the FSD kit that you would need hardware-wise to be able to implement that, they've reduced the price. Do you think there's any option, if they get pushback or a low take rate on the $200 a month plan, that they could drop it into, say, $149, or what I thought would have been a perfect program would be $99 a month? I know that would kind of be, probably not work in the sense that people would now definitely go the $99 route and not the $10,000 route if they were purchasing. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so
do you think they'll roll it back? Like they did with
so.
the computer kit?
Yeah, I know the computer kit. I think that's a good move to get even more people and get even more Teslas to do this. And they are pushing hard to get as much information and data as for that machine, for sure. But I really think when version 9 comes out, I think that's going to change a lot of things, as we already talked about, because I do think, like you say, $99 for what it can do today would have been fair. I think $200 is a bit steep, but again, I think many people would go for it, like you did. But I think $99 would be fair. But I think for what it does now, but I think that it's just a matter of what comes first, really, in my opinion. And I think when version 9 rolls out to the wider audience and people see what it is capable of doing, I don't think $200 will scare many people that really wants it but don't want to put down 10,000 because maybe they don't only keep their cars for a year or two or something like that. So and you can't keep it. It stays with the car. So that's still something that Tesla has also got some criticism about, because I was also kind of surprised about this because I paid it, but then all the new cars, Model Y, Berlin factories coming online. So I thought, that would also be a great car, but I still want to keep my old car. So I'm not going to sell
Right.
that one to get the money to buy the new one. So I have to save up to get a new car because of full self-driving, pretty much. If it didn't have full self-driving, I would probably just sell this car and try to get a Model Y when it came out of Giga Berlin.
Yeah,
So
and that
so for
I
me,
think
the
that's a
full,
big
yeah,
yeah, that's a big selling point too. If you look at it that way, in the sense of, unless they change their mind, Tesla could possibly do that. They're kind of notorious for it, in the sense of letting full self-driver transfer with the driver, as opposed to
yeah,
with the car itself. That's where I think the variance would be in terms of the potential revenue opportunity for them, is if they flip to it. If you just think about it, me as a good example, lifetime, I'm probably going to own 10 Teslas, okay? So I would definitely go the subscription route for all those 10 Teslas, but I would not buy the full self-driving. So they've lost me as a customer for full
yeah,
self-driving unless they have subscription, which now I've got it over 10 cars as opposed to over one vehicle that they got for one time. So I think, from a
yeah,
long-term standpoint, I don't necessarily think this is going to be a big revenue center for them. I think it's more about the data than anything,
yeah,
in terms of acquisition, for sure. When you look
yeah.
at the safety records, Lars, are you concerned at all with where Tesla is going with full self-driving at the current pace in which Elon is rolling this out, from a safety standpoint?
And no,
None at all.
short answer, but no, because we also see, like Elon just tweeted, the last 259 days or whatever it was, that beta testers had zero incidents. So the testers are really careful with full
Yep.
self-driving. Many others are not, but we can still see that full self-driving is much safer on the highways than human already. I think they are at
Mm.
9 or 10 times safer. And as I said myself, I experience firsthand now while I'm driving here that I feel safer with the car on autopilot on highway or in city, traffic, because
Yep.
then I just follow the car in front of me, and it keeps, because when it's slow traffic, you're even more distractive
Oh,
than
for sure.
on a highway, I think, because you're sitting there, you're not moving, then people are moving, then you're gassing up, and then they block the brakes, and then you have to stop again. And the Tesla will just follow nicely. And I'm
Yeah.
all over the place when I'm driving like that. So I think the data is going to show us how safe this is. As I have said in
Hmm.
many videos, I think it's more a question of, are we going to be allowed to drive in 20 years' time on public road? I think that is more likely that we are not going to be able to do that than we will not have full self-driving. I
Mm.
think we
Interesting.
will
Yeah.
more likely have full self-driving than we will not be able to drive ourselves in public roads or something like that.
Lars, let's go into some predictions here in terms of when you think this rollout. So you feel like beta 9 is going to be a wider, either one, a wider beta or potentially a limited release here this year in
Yeah,
2021. All right. What are
yeah.
your thoughts on full autonomy, being able to achieve true full autonomy without driver attention? Do you think that's going to come anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm one of the optimistic guys about that. So, yeah, I think when version 9 is rolling out, I already think that is kind of full self-driving. It's just not 99.99% perfect yet.
Yeah.
So all Tesla really need at that point is data, and a lot of data. But Tesla is ramping up like crazy. They're gonna almost double the amount of cars this year and probably next year too. And all these cars are gonna give Tesla data. And when version 9 comes out, I believe a lot more will buy and subscribe to it. As you say, I think this is really the end game for Tesla, to get more people on the full self-driving, to give them even more data for this. Um, so I think at the end of the year we will have the wider rollout, and then 22, if a whole year with full self-driving to a wide audience, I think that's going to be like really exponential growth on data from Tesla, also because their fleet is growing so fast and every
Right.
car gives Tesla data. So I think we're going to see full self-driving much sooner than many expect
Yeah, for
because of
sure.
that.
Well, yeah, and if you look at the cars that are capable of FSD right now, I think it's 2018 and up, since the Model 3 really introduction. So if you look at the sales numbers, let's just go to last year, 500,000. They're anticipating somewhere around 800,000 we might get close to 900,000 this year, but most likely around the 800K mark. So not quite a million cars on the road. If the take rate is only 10%, though, that's 100,000 cars. If they can increase the take rate another 20% to say 30%, like you are indicating, that's 300,000 just of the new vehicles that have been sold in the last couple of years. It's probably closer to 400,000. You're right. That's a lot of data coming in that could be ingested by Tesla and moving out Beta 9. But Beta 9, though, is still not full autonomy. That's the question. So do you think it's a 2022 or a 2023 potential for full autonomy? Or further?
I think by the end of, I don't think further. I think 2023 would probably be a good year to have the first fully autonomous cars. It's all about, after that it's about regulatory. When do we get allowance to do this fully autonomous, that the car drives all by itself? But I think we'll have cars that can drive by themselves maybe by the end of next year. But it's always very wow. it's always delayed. I actually made a guess a couple of years back in the end of 2022, and I'm still sticking to that. Maybe they will be delayed. It has been delayed so many times, so why not? But I think really version 9 shows us that they are so close on having something very close to full self-driving. Like we have seen guys, starting the car in their garage. It goes to pick up the sandwich. They go into the car and go back with 0 interventions. That is fully autonomy to me. but it can't do it everywhere. But they're very, very close. And in my opinion, it's only about data, and Tesla is going to get a ton of data with version 9 coming out, the new subscription, and so on. And of course, we have to remember Tesla also get data from all the cars, not just the full self-driving ones with full self-driving data. So, and at the end of this year, they're also going to have the Dojo computer, I believe, up and running. So, and that's really going to make the data even faster to go through. So I think that by the end of this year, it's really going to take off. And then they have a whole year in 2022 to accumulate all this data. And I'm still very optimistic and betting on end 2022.